guys are just too sweet.
Virgil died begging for $400 on GoFundMe. Sonny killed a 75-year-old grandfather while driving drunk. Now she's rotting in prison, owing $5 million she'll never have. These were the heroes of our childhood, WWE legends, who once made millions performing for packed arenas, the ones who bled, smiled, and played gods under the lights. So how did men who earned millions end up broken, and forgotten? And which one is still falling fast with nobody left to catch him? Join us as we find out the fall from grace of some WWE wrestlers. Mike Jones, you're rushing through a New York City subway station in 2013. Coffee in one hand, phone in the other. You spot a guy spreading wrestling photos across a folding table near the turnstiles. Something about his face seems familiar. Wait, is that Virgil? Ted DiBiase's bodyguard from WWE? The $1 Million champion is hawking autographs to commuters who have zero clue who he is. This wasn't rock bottom. Rock bottom came later. Virgil rode high from 1987 onwards, standing beside the $1 Million Man. Steady paychecks, national television every single week. His 1991 face turn, punching DiBiase and winning the $1 Million championship, should have made him a star. WCW grabbed him next, repackaged him as Vincent in the legendary NWO stable, then Curly Bill, then Soul Train Jones. The money kept coming. Everything stopped when WCW collapsed in 2000. No backup plan existed. No savings lasted. 22 years later, in 2022, Virgil teetered on the edge of actual homelessness. His friend Sean Renier took him in at the last possible second before he hit the streets. The internet turned his poverty into a meme. Lonely Virgil photos went viral, shot after shot of him sitting completely alone at wrestling conventions. Fans deliberately walked past his merchandise table without making eye contact. The humiliation was public, documented, and shared by thousands who'd never struggled for anything. Then his body quit. 2022 brought a dementia diagnosis. 2 massive strokes followed. Doctors found stage 2 colon cancer spreading fast. December 2023 forced friends to launch a GoFundMe campaign targeting $400, not $400,000. $400 for clothing and toiletries. Virgil died February 28, 2024 at age 61. The $1 Million Man's bodyguard couldn't afford basic dignity. But Virgil's story isn't the only one where a lawsuit destroyed everything. One wrestler got hit with a $26.7 million judgment that crushed him before his career even peaked. Marty Jannetty. In 1990, Marty Jannetty performed a standard wrestling move during a WWF match. Something goes wrong. Wrestler Chuck Austin gets injured. These accidents happen constantly in professional wrestling. Everyone knows the risks of walking into that ring. Chuck Austin sued for $26.7 million. The number was deliberately inflated to force a settlement. The case eventually closed at $10 million total. Marty Jannetty was personally ordered to pay $500,000 of that judgment, $500,000. He was still building his career as part of the Rockers tag team with Shawn Michaels. He hadn't reached main event status yet. He didn't have that amount sitting in a bank account. The debt crushed him immediately. Every paycheck became a payment plan. His wrestling career transformed from a path to wealth into a desperate scramble servicing debt that never seemed to shrink. This single lawsuit fundamentally altered Jannetty's entire financial trajectory. Tampa 1992 brought stimulant possession charges, substance paraphernalia, resisting arrest. 6 months of house arrest followed. WWE released him instantly. His main roster push vanished along with millions in potential future earnings. DUI arrests started piling up from 2003, then in 2004. A domestic incident in 2005. Court appearances became more frequent than ring appearances. His stimulant addiction throughout the 80s and 90s destroyed his reliability. Promoters stopped booking him because they couldn't trust him to show up sober and professional. The $500,000 judgment hung over everything, turning success into obligation and achievement into debt service. Chuck Austin got paid. Marty Jannetty got destroyed. Wrestling continued operating without any systemic changes to protect performers from catastrophic financial liability. The question isn't whether Marty Jannetty will hit rock bottom. The question is whether he'll survive the impact. While Jannetty spirals today, another wrestler has already died broke after WWE abandoned him completely, despite everything he gave them. Tom Billington. Tom Billington, the Dynamite Kid, revolutionized professional wrestling by blending British technical wrestling with Mexican lucha libre, Canadian toughness, and Japanese precision. Nobody had seen anything like it before. His matches against Tiger Mask in Japan are still studied by wrestling historians, analyzing the evolution of the industry. As half of the British Bulldogs with Davey Boy Smith, he held WWE Tag Team Championships for 8 months during the company's crucial national expansion. Wrestling crippled him as payment for innovation. December 1986 brought 2 herniated discs and severe nerve damage in his left leg. The price of performing moves that audiences had never witnessed. His body screamed, but Dynamite Kid kept working because that's what wrestlers did. By 1997, his left leg stopped functioning completely. The Dynamite Kid, known for explosive athleticism and breathtaking aerial moves, was confined to a wheelchair permanently at just 38 years old. He couldn't work. He couldn't earn an income. He needed constant medical care, costing money he didn't have. Crowdfunding campaigns like Help the Dynamite Kid Come Home became desperate pleas begging the wrestling community for basic medical expense money. Chris Jericho donated $2,000, recognizing what the Dynamite Kid contributed to the entire industry. WWE provided exactly $0 in financial assistance. Not 1 penny for medical care. 0 for the wheelchair, 0 for medications, 0 for home care he required daily. This was a man who helped build their company during critical national expansion, who influenced multiple generations of wrestlers, and who sacrificed his body's functionality for their profits. They abandoned him completely. In 2015, Dynamite Kid joined a lawsuit against WWE seeking compensation for concussion-based injuries sustained throughout his career. Heart problems compounded his mobility issues. November 2013 brought a stroke, further deteriorating his condition. Depression wrapped around him as medication bottles multiplied. Pharmaceuticals for pain, heart problems, depression, stroke damage, everything breaking down simultaneously. December 5, 2018, his 60th birthday, Dynamite Kid died. WWE's abandonment of Dynamite Kid wasn't unique. They've left countless broken bodies behind, including one legend who nearly ended his own life. Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts mastered psychological warfare from 1986 to 1992, earning millions through legendary feuds with Randy Savage and The Undertaker. His promo skills remain unmatched decades later. Then, 1992, he delivered the WCW contract that broke him. They stripped away his snake gimmick, his entire identity, and slashed his income from $3.5 million annually to $200,000. Not a pay cut, an execution. The financial devastation hurt, but the psychological annihilation killed something inside him. Roberts plunged into a 20-year stimulant addiction, nearly ending his life multiple times. By 2012, He was financially shattered, unable to afford hip replacement surgery, and his body desperately needed basic dental work. His body was falling apart. His bank account was empty. Depression choked him. Then came the most terrifying detail. Reports suggested Jake was talking about getting a gun. Not for protection. Not for collecting. People who knew him understood exactly what he meant. The man who'd been one of wrestling's most confident, charismatic performers was contemplating permanent escape from unbearable pain. Jake wasn't the only legend mentioning guns. Another Hall of Famer was dying so fast that doctors warned he had weeks left to live. Scott Hall. Scott Hall defined cool as Razor Ramon multiple Intercontinental Championships, 2 WWE Hall of Fame inductions, solo in 2014, with NWO in 2020. His WrestleMania 10 ladder match against Shawn Michaels remains legendary. Peak Monday Night Wars years filled his bank accounts generously. Decades of substance abuse strangled everything. By 2013, Scott Hall was literally dying. Doctors warned he might not survive much longer. His body was failing catastrophically from years of alcoholism and substance addiction. He couldn't afford critical hip replacement surgery. He couldn't afford dental work. Depression suffocated him so completely that he mentioned getting a gun, the same terrifying code Jake Roberts used. Reports suggested Hall was battling severe depression and was in a state of emotional crisis. The psychological toll became even more devastating than physical deterioration. The confident bad guy had become a broken man seeking escape from endless suffering until he finally got it at age 63. Two legends talking about guns, both financially destroyed, both ready to die. Another wrestler had his face destroyed on live pay-per-view. Joey Mercury, Nitro, and Melina were the flashiest act in mid-2000s WWE. 3 WWE Tag Team Championships in 2005 alone. Joey Mercury earned enough to buy a house, real stability representing the American dream through sports entertainment. Everything was clicking. December 2006's Armageddon pay-per-view changed everything. Fatal 4-way ladder match. A spot with Jeff Hardy went catastrophically wrong. The ladder smashed directly into Mercury's face with bone-crushing force. His nose shattered. His orbital bone exploded. Blood sprayed everywhere. Over 30 stitches couldn't hide the gruesome damage. Mercury had battled addiction since age 15, involving stimulants, opioids, and alcohol. He'd been managing it, staying functional. Post-injury, pain and trauma ripped open every old wound simultaneously. Painkillers flooded his system, mixing with existing addictions into a toxic cocktail, consuming him completely. March 2007 brought WWE release after Vince McMahon personally intervened, urging treatment. Mercury's steady WWE income vanished instantly. His 6-figure house faced foreclosure. He entered rehabilitation to save his life, but couldn't make house payments from rehab. CM Punk, the straight-edge wrestler, famous for never touching substance or alcohol, did something extraordinary. Punk reportedly wrote a 6-figure check and bought Mercury's house outright, preventing foreclosure. Not alone. An outright purchase eliminates the threat. The gesture was documented in CM Punk's Best in the World DVD. After rehabilitation, Mercury returned to independent wrestling as Joey Matthews or Adam Birch, rebuilding slowly. Joey Mercury didn't die poor, selling autographs in subway stations. He got CM Punk. Most wrestlers get nothing. CM Punk saved Mercury with a check, but one Army Ranger saved a stranger's life and paid a price that destroyed him for years. Perry Saturn. April 2004, Atlanta Street, late evening. Perry Saturn witnessed a woman being violently sexually assaulted. Most people freeze. Most call 911 and pray police arrive quickly. Perry Saturn, Army Ranger, certified graduate of U.S. Army Ranger School, 4-year military veteran serving since age 17, charged directly into the fight without hesitation. The attacker pulled a .25 caliber handgun and shot Saturn in the back of the neck at point-blank range. Saturn saved her life that night. The bullet wound eventually healed. Nobody could save Perry Saturn from the trauma that followed. Physical agony merged with psychological torment, creating unbearable pain that prescription medications couldn't touch, that therapy couldn't reach, that nothing legal could numb. Saturn discovered crystal meth. What began as desperate self-medication exploded into full-blown addiction, swallowing his entire existence. For 2.5 years, Perry Saturn vanished completely. The wrestling world whispered he'd died because how else do you explain a former ECW, WCW, and WWE star completely disappearing? He wasn't dead. He was homeless, living on the streets, his body deteriorating from meth addiction while his brain slowly shut down from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the cumulative result of years of head trauma during his wrestling career. The headaches never stopped. Light felt like knives stabbing his eyes. His thoughts turned to fog, memories slipping away. Early dementia symptoms crept in like thieves stealing pieces of his identity. His wife Lisa became the difference between life and death. She stepped in as a full-time caregiver, nursing him through withdrawal and recovery, the physical agony, psychological torment, brain damage complications, all of it. By 2016, Saturn achieved what seemed medically impossible. He was substance-free and managing his brain injury symptoms. 2021, 9 years after anyone thought they'd see him wrestle, Saturn stepped through those ropes at Awesome Wrestling Entertainment's Night of the Legends pay-per-view and won against C.W. Anderson. As of 2025, Saturn appears to have stabilized his life significantly. But those 2.5 years on the streets, sleeping rough, brain-damaged, addicted to meth, forgotten by the industry, that time was stolen permanently. The CTE damage is progressive and permanent. Saturn survived homelessness and addiction, but another legend earned millions only to lose it all after one drunk driving decision that killed someone. Tammy Sunny Sitch. Sunny commanded premium fees during her 1995 to 1998 WWE peak as one of wrestling's most marketable personalities. Money flowed freely. Fame sparkled. Everything seemed limitless. Her 1998 departure amid rumors of backstage conflicts and addiction issues marked the beginning of a 20-year downward spiral where DUI arrests became more regular than wrestling appearances. March 25, 2022. Ormond Beach, Florida. 7 in the evening. Sunny was driving with a blood alcohol level more than 4 times the legal limit. 4 times. She wasn't tipsy. She was catastrophically drunk behind the wheel of a deadly weapon. She rear-ended a vehicle stopped at a red light with devastating force. 75 years old Julian Lacer died from the impact. A grandfather was erased because Sunny couldn't stay sober long enough to call an Uber. Charges accumulated. DUI manslaughter, causing death while operating a vehicle with a suspended license. She wasn't even legally allowed to be driving. Multiple counts of DUI, causing injury and property damage to other victims. November 2023 brought sentencing. 17 years in prison, plus 8 years of probation afterwards. Her tentative release date? December 2039. She'll be in her 70s if she survives incarceration. April 3, 2025 brought more devastation. Circuit Judge Mary G. Jolly of Volusia County, Florida, ruled that Sunny must pay $5 million to Julian Lacer's estate. $5 million on top of 17 years imprisoned. The judgment exists to ensure that if Sunny ever earns another dollar through wrestling appearances, book deals, interviews, or any exploitation of her notoriety, that money gets seized immediately. Before prison, Sunny attempted to generate income through OnlyFans starting in 2020, leveraging fading fame to offer explicit content just to survive. Now, even that's gone. This isn't a recovery story. This is someone who lost everything and will never get it back because she killed someone. Sunny's in prison for killing someone drunk, but another wrestler's stroke left him paralyzed and broke after earning millions. Lex Luger. Lex Luger earned approximately $4.5 million during his WCW peak from 1996 to 2000, with earlier years bringing in around $350,000 annually. He had it all: 2 World Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Championships, 5 World Championship Wrestling United States Heavyweight Championships, and a guaranteed lifetime of financial security. But as the early 2000s rolled in, everything changed. A series of cascading disasters would soon bring him crashing down. April 19, 2003. Domestic dispute with girlfriend. Miss Elizabeth resulted in misdemeanor battery charges and $2,500 bond. April 21, 2003. 2 days later, DUI arrest after rear-ending another car while driving on a suspended license with obvious intoxication. Then Miss Elizabeth died tragically. May 1, 2003, brought substance charges: anabolic steroids, oxycodone, synthetic growth hormone, testosterone, and alprazolam. 14 felony counts, ultimately pleading guilty to fines, 5 years probation, and periodic substance testing. December 2005, removed from a Canada-bound flight for causing disturbances, violating probation terms. 4 months in jail followed. Legal fees and fines devoured his wrestling fortune voraciously. October 19, 2007, delivered the knockout blow. Luger suffered a spinal stroke, leaving him temporarily paralyzed, quadriplegic for nearly a month. Wrestling career is finished forever. Medical bills became astronomical and never-ending. Spinal stroke recovery requires intensive physical therapy, occupational therapy, medications, specialized equipment, home modifications, and potentially full-time care. Costs accumulate relentlessly. The combination of legal costs and medical expenses proved impossible to handle. His inability to wrestle or engage in high-earning activities post-2007, coupled with ongoing financial drain of legal obligations and healthcare costs, led to catastrophic wealth reduction. As of 2025, Lex Luger's net worth is estimated at approximately $400,000, a stark fraction of his former multi-million-dollar earnings. $400,000 sounds like money, until you realize it has to cover the rest of his life, ongoing medical expenses, and basic living costs. That's not wealth. That's slightly elevated poverty with a famous name attached. Luger lost millions to legal troubles and a stroke, but one wrestler went from main event money to complete bankruptcy in just 3 years. Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista was WWE royalty. The animal commanded millions for his performances, intimidating opponents with massive physical presence while displaying surprising charisma, making him one of wrestling's most bankable stars. When he left WWE in 2010, Hollywood seemed like the obvious next chapter. He'd conquer movies like he conquered wrestling. Hollywood doesn't care about wrestling credentials. By 2013, 3 years after leaving WWE, Bautista was broke. Completely broke. His house went into foreclosure. Every possession accumulated during his lucrative wrestling career was sold off piece by piece. The man who'd earned millions couldn't secure acting roles paying enough to maintain even a basic lifestyle. According to Wrestling Inc. and Yahoo Finance, Bautista lost everything during this period. The IRS came knocking with tax problems, adding government debt to his mounting crisis. The animal had become prey. That unemployment stretched from 2010 to 2014, 3 full years of professional death. Bautista described feeling like he was starving, unable to secure meaningful work, while his entire life collapsed. 2014 brought salvation. Marvel cast him as Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. That one role transformed everything instantly. Suddenly, Bautista was starring in Spectre, Blade Runner 2049, Dune, legitimate Hollywood blockbusters with massive paychecks. He went from foreclosure adjacent to an A-list actor, but Bautista got lucky. He got a Marvel role at exactly the right moment. Most wrestlers facing foreclosure don't get Marvel movies. They get eviction notices and bankruptcy filings. Bautista's story is the exception, proving how devastating the rule really is. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out another interesting video by clicking on the link shown on your screen. See you on the other side.